Hey everybody, it's Daphne here with Laura Entertainment. We are sitting down with Emmy award-winning director. How you doing? Tyler Hickman. I
I'm good. How are you, Daphne?
love to mess with people. It's fun. I gotta start it off like that because people that they take shit too seriously,
They
you know,
can.
especially in interviews. I like to make this fun, so I always gotta mess with people. So, just asked you a minute ago about your day. How's your day going?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Very busy, but that's a good thing. Better be busy than bored. And I'm very busy these days, so not much to complain about on my end. Hope it's the same for you.
Crazy busy. Yesterday was a little bit weird. I fell down the damn stairs.
Ooh.
I'm like,
Ooh.
I really got to learn how to walk, man. I'm telling you what, because and 2 days before that, I was going down the stairs and I had my drink in my hand. My drink just goes out of my hand, hits the door, goes everywhere. So I had to clean that up. 2 days later, the same damn thing happens, but this time not only does my drink go, I go with it. So I got this big bruise down my arm.
Ooh.
I stopped myself with this part hit like this with my arm, and the rest of it was my back. I
Oh.
stopped my, which I should have known better than to stop myself with my back, but I did it anyway.
Well, I'm glad you're up and moving and not anything worse.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Jeez.
And it wasn't even alcohol related. Explain that.
I wish I could.
I was sober. Telling you what. So what you been working on?
Ooh, man. Uh, the biggest thing I'm working on right now is The Rogues: Dawn of the Black Sun. That's the trailer you posted up about this interview. Thank you
Yeah,
very much for doing that, by the way.
yeah,
It is a action adventure, high concept, a lot of fun, kind of going back to you know high adventure back like the Indiana Jones movies back in the 80s. The where they did things for real. They went to real locations with real people, and they
yeah,
really did it. It wasn't a bunch of green screen and computer effects. It was just folks making a movie, and you can kind of feel that when you watch it. Yeah, there's this visceral quality where you can tell, oh, they really did do this, and it makes it more exciting and makes it more adventurous. And people in the audience can tell. They can tell when it's real. And so what we're trying to do with the Rogues is kind of get back to that, you know, gritty kind of filmmaking where we actually get people in these locations doing real stunts, doing it for real as much as we possibly can, and just have fun, get some escapism back in the theater, and
yeah.
just enjoy a movie again, you know. And there's been a few over the years that have kind of leaned more into that. The most recent Top Gun, everyone loved that one, and that was real jets flying around, and that was a lot of fun, and people responded to that in droves. They really went out and supported the movie, and I want to kind of get back to filmmaking like that, where we
Yeah.
have to go out and really do it, and it's more. I get a lot out of being on the set, doing it for real, because there's those moments of inspiration that spark when you're there in person doing it. If you're on a green screen, there's a lot less inspiration kind of flying around. You don't really feel it as much.
Boring. It's boring as hell, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I've had this conversation with quite a few directors, and I mean, personally, for me, this is the way I feel about that. Green screen is fun for some. As far as acting, I get that, but it's not that fun, you know? And a lot of people are sick of it. And I mean, there are people that are not. I'm just being honest,
Mm-hmm.
from people that I know, people in the industry, people that are not in the industry, kids. I've got my own little focus group. Like my kids, literally, my kids are from ages 30 down,
Mm-hmm.
and there's eight of them. And then I swear, and then there's six grandbabies. So I have my own little focus group.
Sounds
And,
like it.
it's just like, in a lot of the filmmakers, they don't want to do it. The green screen stuff, it's not as fun. And me, I ride motorcycles and I would never want to fake it. I would prefer just to do it And
Hmm.
I've volunteered to talk in classrooms and stuff like that about the movie industry. And I've had this little boy asked me one time, and he was like, "Would you ever do a Marvel movie?" And I was like, maybe if it was stunts, because I
Hmm.
could actually get to do the stunts. I was like, but as far as the acting, no.
Hmm.
I said, and honestly, it's nothing towards Marvel because I like their movies.
Hmm.
But for me, it's better. I would rather go and do it than have to have my whole character constantly with a green screen. It's just no fun. No fun,
Right. Right.
you know. And a lot of people are wanting to go back to the regular days or the older days, you know. A lot of people are sick of the CGI and all of that. It's just more fun to go make the damn movie and have a lot of fun doing it.
Exactly
You
right.
know, you
Exactly
get hurt,
right.
you get hurt. Oh well, you know. It's just the way it goes, you know. I mean, it happens, you know.
Well, I mean, if accidents happen always, they're unavoidable in some circumstances, but on a film set, 99 times out of 100 stunts go right because of prep work and professionals, and they're given ample time to rehearse until they get it absolutely right. So
Mhm.
these, for instance, choreographed fight scenes are more dances than they are actual fights because they know when to hit their mark, when to throw this way, when to twist this way. And it becomes almost second nature. You're not thinking about it to do it. That way you can sort of act while you're having these, for instance, these fight scenes. And the same can kind of be said for some of the larger stunts, like vehicle stunts or things like that, where if you rehearse it enough and you're given that luxury of time to rehearse with the whole stunt team, with stunt coordinator, with second director, second unit, all that stuff, then when you get there on the day, barring an absolute act of God kind of accident, it should be smooth as glass. And
Yeah.
if it isn't, then obviously there's a wrench been thrown into the system. But that's what I like about movie making is working with real professionals who know what they're doing, and they say that's not safe. Let's hold up there. Cool. Let's find another way to do it that is safe and still gets the point across, still tells the story, still keeps the characters intact because there's a way to do it. And if you
Mhm.
surround yourself with good professional people, you should always walk away happy and in one piece,
Yeah.
ideally.
Yeah. I mean, hell, right now I could probably ride a motorcycle better than I could walk anymore.
Well, hopefully
Anymore.
you're not riding even down the stairs. So
I'm just wondering. Me and the stairs have a serious issue with each other.
it sounds like it.
I'm telling you. I mean, people just miss being able to do. I mean, computers are great, blah blah blah. You know, I get before they came back real strong in the 80s, 90s, whenever they made their big takeover. But people are just they're too tied in. Everybody's so plugged in.
Mhm.
Everybody's lost sight of everything real anymore. And it's not just movies, it's everything in life,
Mhm.
everything in life. And it's so messed up. I mean, like I have to get on to my kids, even the grown ones. You guys spend way too much time on these games, you
Mhm.
know, and I get it. It's fun. It's a fun thing for them to do, but damn, you've got to pull your head out of your ass. You really do because there's a difference. I mean, you're sitting there in this virtual world, rather it be in movies or, gaming, and you're lost in it, you know. It's it's taken over their brains, I think.
Mhm.
As far as video games anyway, it's taken over their brains. It's fried their brains, and it's time to bring a little bit more of the reality back into rather it be, cinema or schools or, games or anything just real. Like,
Mhm.
okay, do you remember I don't know how old you are, but I'm 44, so I'll just put that out there. But do you remember, okay, the Nintendo Power Pad from years ago? Nintendo had this Power Pad and they laid it out and you had to run on it
I'm not familiar. Sorry.
Oh my God. Okay. So like if you Google this thing, you'll see this mat and you would plug it into your Nintendo and it would make you run and jump like hurdles and stuff. You know what I mean? At least
Gotcha.
you were getting some kind of action. It's old school, you know?
Okay.
That's probably like the last video game I've ever played. I haven't played like the Wii. Yeah, I don't play video games. I'm not a gamer, so I couldn't
Mhm.
really tell you anything about video games. But at least you were doing movement, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah, the power pad sounds like a lot of fun. For I guess just hitting buttons, large buttons with your feet is what it sounds like.
Yeah, we would cheat though. Me and my brother, we would fold the mat over and we would race each other against the hurdles. So instead of running, we would both get on the ground and take our fists and just sit there and
Defeating
jump.
the purpose of the pad essentially just becomes a big controller on the ground.
We cheated a little, only when we got tired, you know?
Oh, I got you. Right.
But I mean, it's just stuff like that, the games now, and they're so advanced more than they were then. I think that's probably like those are the last video games I've ever played.
Yeah, I'm not too well versed in game stuff just because I've been so focused on just movies. That's kind
Yeah.
of I've been accused of having a narrow focus and just being cinema minded, and I'm fine with that. I'll wear that label. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
And so anytime I have downtime, I like to just dig into film and see, some hidden gems and explore different genres and different eras of filmmaking and different film techniques. And I love behind the scenes stuff on films and all that just kind of, seeps into my brain. So when I'm writing a new script or coming up with ideas, these things, they're all kind of bubbling up to the surface and helping me to filter out some of the stronger ideas that I have and getting them out on paper. And then if they're strong enough, then going out and filming them. And
Mhm.
that's, yeah, I really love that process. That is just a lot of fun.
What do you think about horror movies?
Oh, there are some fantastic, fantastic horror movies. Yeah, there are probably half a dozen that I hold in very high regard that I'll refer back to sometimes when I'm coming up with my own things. And I've done a couple horror movies myself, so I've kind of dabbled in the genre. But yeah, there are some very, very good horror movies out there.
What's your favorite? Or well,
Halloween,
I won't put you on the spot like that because I know people can have more than one just favorite. But I
that's
mean,
true.
what would be one of your favorites?
Halloween, the original John Carpenter Halloween, or John Carpenter's The Thing, which is just a dynamite film. The original Evil Dead, that's amazing. Sam Raimi, incredible. Shining's up there just because it's so unsettling even today. I mean, God, that movie is just a masterclass in in horror, in just
Austin was
intention.
twisted in that
Oh
movie.
my God, it stays with you. It really does. There's so many just unsettling things that were done so well in that film. Just so yeah, th- th- there are quite a few that I've kind of learned to love more over the years. Because at first I was like, horror's not really my thing, but as I got to kind of explore more in film school, um, I had a buddy, Brendan Scott. He's since passed away, but he was a big horror aficionado, and he introduced me to films of Dario Argento, like Bird with a Crystal Plumage or Cat o' Nine Tails or Suspiria, the original. And these are all giallo films, Italian. So he was very well versed in horror, and he kind of schooled me on the good horror, like what to look out for, and when you want to just turn one on and kind of laugh because it's cheesy and fun, and
Mhm.
it's a genre that encapsulates so much in it. And I feel like it's not really given its due when an amazing horror film comes out. It's almost like that was great, but it's still horror. Moving on. And I'm like, well, hold on. There's something here. There's something primal in this genre that a lot of the other ones don't really tackle. And maybe it's because the genre has had a bad name, or because you can make exploitation and schlocky things under that banner. They aren't taken seriously. But I mean, Jaws is a horror film. That's Spielberg's first. So to deny its place, the genre's place in film, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face. I don't understand the uh, the snobbery when it comes to discussing horror films with some of the more cinematic folks out there. I've never gotten that. I don't understand that. I think it's an incredible genre. I
They're
really do.
fun. They're fun to make. And I mean, like we've had conversations on here. It was, oh my God, who the hell did I have? Oh, it was me and Maurice. I had Maurice on here. He's a director, actor, and producer out of Atlanta. And we were talking about, the horror movies, and they always write it, and they always kill the dumb blonde first. They do. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say it. I don't care. You know, and the black guy. Always. It's always the black guy and the dumb blonde. Always. They got to take him out. Always. So we were talking, during the show, and then we got talking after the show. We're like, you know what? We ought to write a damn movie where the blonde and the black guy prevail, you know, and the rest of them are the ones that get it.
Right, right.
Like, seriously,
That's one way to do it. Yeah, that's one way to
flip
do
it
it.
because they stick to certain things. It's just funny because they're always killing off those are always the two people that they kill, because they always got to put this ditzy girl in there. And Lord have mercy, can this girl just make the right decision for once, you know just once, one time.
A lot of the lower tier horror movies do tend to lean into the cliches and tropes, and
Mhm.
and those tend to unfortunately get traction, but eventually they'll fall by the wayside. And films like the original Night of the Living Dead, lead actor is a black man, makes it. He's the lead. He makes it through all the way to the end, and that was almost like a like it it found this sort of, not niche, but it found this new avenue in horror without even really meaning to. Because when they made the film, they were just like, no, he was just the best actor in our group. We don't care that he's black. Like, who cares?
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, yeah, it shouldn't matter. And then the film comes out, and people are like, oh, this movie's incredible. It happens to have a black guy as the lead character.
Yeah.
It was almost like an afterthought. Like, it wasn't baked into the script. It was like, no, it's just how it works. And I don't know what people took away from that in the years since, where they do fall in this trope of like, oh, we've got a black guy in our film, we got to kill him off. We have the blonde girl, we got to kill her off. And I'm like, did you guys not see like one of the best horror films ever? Did you guys miss Night of the Living Dead? Did that not happen? No? Okay, I guess we're just doing tropey
I
things.
think it's that expression that they used to use about dumb blonde. They always said the dumb blondes, the dumb blondes. But usually, I mean, I'm not going to say that there aren't, to an extent, but there's dumb people with any kind of hair color, men,
Yeah.
women. It don't even matter. I guess it was a stereotype that kind of just got thrown out there, so they figure, we'll just kill the dits, you know?
Right.
But I mean, the horror movies are so much fun to make. I've been in a couple, of the little shorts, and I have had so much fun. And they've had an issue. There was one that I did, and I'll just say her name. A friend of mine, her name's Jen, and because of my hair being blonde, and she was like, we're gonna have to put blood in your hair. Is it gonna stain your hair? Oh my God. I'm like, I don't give a shit if it stains my hair or whatever. Just throw it in there. I can re-dye my hair. I don't care. You know,
Right.
let's just get it done for the movie, whatever, just throw it in there. And it didn't actually, it didn't stain my hair, but she was real concerned about that. And I wanted to make it look realistic. So I had the guy who was playing opposite, I had him really pull my hair. And she was like, we don't really want him to do that. I'm like, look, I didn't drive all the way up here for this shit to look fake. So, you know what I mean? If I'm telling him, and I'm not tender-headed, and I told him to grab the shit and let's get this over with. And he did. So he did, and it
Right.
looked good. I mean, that whole scene looked good. I'm not tender-headed. I grew up with 8 brothers, so it is what it is. I'm not no little wimp, you know. And we got the scene and I left. And when they got it done, it looked really, really good. But it was
Right.
funny because one, it was a thing about my hair color. And then two, it was, oh no, we don't want to. I don't care. Let's do this, you know. But they're just so much fun to make. They're fun.
with the right group of people, it's an absolute blast. Is that's another thing I love about just filmmaking in general. When you find a really good group of like-minded creatives
Yeah.
who can come together, and it's you get very simpatico very quickly, where you can almost speak in code, or just like, hey, you remember that one thing we did on that other thing? Yeah, let's do that here. Okay, cool. It's so short, it's so quick,
Mhm.
and it's very much on the same wavelength. And that's what we did on the Rogues trailer. That we shot that concept trailer just in like a weekend. But that crew, that cast and that crew, one of the best I've ever worked with, because everyone almost instinctively knew this is what we're trying to do. This is the kind of movie we're going to make. Everyone's got to wear a lot of hats for this. We understand. We don't care because we can get it done, and we know it's going to look great in the end.
Mhm.
And I am still blown away that we pulled that off in a weekend. I It's amazing. But that's a testament to the cast and the crew. And if you find the right team, you can have the best time having tons of fun making movies. I mean, why not have both? Why not make a great product and work with a great team? It just seems like kind of obvious. Like, yeah, all we need to make the rest of the movie is just some money. Just give us a financier, distributor, and get it out there. But with the same crew, we can absolutely make it happen. And it sounds like you've kind of found the same with your little filmmaking group, making your horror films and having fun along the way, instead of just dreading it and trudging up there and having to be a terrible experience. It sounds like you're having a good time getting blood in your hair and getting your hair almost ripped out of your head.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really participated in too many of those little projects around here anymore because I've been really, really busy. I mean, just really busy because I am just everywhere, everywhere anymore. And I really wish I could, but I stay in contact because you've got to keep your contact. But one thing that really, I sat here and I listened to all these people that want in, to this industry. And what gets me is they're like, yeah, the film industry is clicked off or something, a click. And what it is I don't really think it's so much as a click. What it is so many people have worked together so many times
Right.
that it's hard when you're used to working with people so much to bring new people in that you don't know if they're reliable. You
Mm-hmm.
don't know if they're going to be, breaking NDAs or if
Right.
they're up to no good or, so it's not the fact that the film industry is one big click or a couple little clicks. It's the fact that there's a lot of money on the line, millions and millions of dollars on the line. And in order to be in the click, you got to be able, one, you got to be reliable,
Mm-hmm.
better be able to work and pull off these. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I get, SAG after's guidelines of the 12-hour days, but it's not 12-hour days. It's 18, 19, 20, 20-hour days, whatever. You better be able to hack it because if you can't, you're in the wrong industry
Mm-hmm.
or in the wrong industry. And if you can't be trusted or you're approaching people that you should not be approaching to begin with, you are get out. Just get out of the industry because
Exactly.
you're going to be pushed out anyway because you're not trustable. You're not reliable and you're
Mm-hmm.
contacting people you should not be contacting, period. And
Absolutely.
we don't need you in the industry like that, But as far as it being a clique, it's not a clique. It's just a group of people that like to make movies and have fun while doing it with other people who like to make movies and have fun while doing it, knowing that we're all going to work our asses off and we can trust each other and know that we're going to get the shit done and it's going to be made. That's
Exactly.
it. It's a job. It's a job. It's not a clique. We're not a gang, you know. You know, we don't have Pixar over there and Warner over here, We're not a gang. Mexican standoff with Sony in the middle,
Right. Right.
I mean, come on. It's shit like that, it kills me.
Right. Yeah.
But you hear that all the time. Oh, it's just a clique. No, it's not. It's a bunch of people that like to do what we do,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. But it's a lot of people that are out there talking that will never hack it because they can't make it in a 5 hour a day job, let alone 18 to 20 hour a day. They would not know what to do.
Oh, absolutely not. Especially if you're on a long shoot. If you got a 2 month shoot and you're doing 20-hour days, you're doing 5 hour turnarounds, and you're doing, you're pushing all your meal breaks, and it's just shows like that exist, and yeah, they're hell. Just they are. And to maintain a level of any kind of fun when you're on one of those sets
Mhm.
takes a very, very special individual, very dedicated individual that isn't doing this just to be a part of a clique or for a paycheck. They're doing it because it's like a it's part of who you are. It's really deep down in here somewhere, and you're finding your group, your people that you're having fun with, making movies with. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Like once you find you can do this in movies, it's if it's in you, it's never going to leave.
Yeah.
And that's what I've found, and that's why I keep working with the same folks. And yeah, it is stressful bringing in new people who are in your group untested, and you have to kind of take it on faith that they're going to show up again and again and again. They're going to give it 110% for 18, 19, 20 hours, whatever it takes.
Mhm.
Those people are some of the hardest working individuals I've ever had the luxury of knowing.
Yeah.
And having those people on your film set is a godsend. So if you can get some of those folks in your corner, especially at the ground level, if you're just trying to make it yourself and find your way, filmmaking is a collaborative art. Painting is not, writing is not, working on music composition. Those are all solo kind of artistic endeavors. Filmmaking is not. So to try to go at 100% alone, I wouldn't recommend it. I think you're selling yourself short, because this industry is it's not a click, but it is built on contacts, because people have to know that
Mhm.
you are trustworthy, you are reliable, you will show up. And that only works if word of mouth works in your favor. If you go to a show and you're working 2 weeks and you crap out and you just bail, you're not going to get another job. Who's going to hire you? Because now word of mouth is, oh, that person was not worth the time. So if you aren't willing to show up 20 hours a day, this is not the industry for you.
I agree. And I mean, that's another thing that a lot of people don't understand. When I did Donnybrook, we were in the cold for 3 nights. And the first night it rained really bad. And I think that's why I kind of felt that's what I've said that before. I fell in love because I was already running a business, so I knew business.
Mhm.
I'm pretty well educated. I did 6 years of college and then had started my own business and then fell into the industry. It kind of circled back. Um, but Tim Sutton, he was the director for that movie. And the 3 nights, the first night it was raining, so where they had filmed that fight scene, the cage fight, it was a campground in Burlington, and the ground was so muddy. And the next night, I was in shorts and a tank top, and it was 14 degrees, and we were out there overnight, 5 to 5.
Oh yeah.
Didn't care. I was having a friggin' hell of a time, man. But I loved his energy because when he come in to introduce himself, he was like, "Hi, my name is Tim, and this is my movie. You guys are gonna have fun. And if you need anything, we're here to make a movie. Let's make the best fucking movie ever." Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Damn, he's the director. All right, cool. All right." So we get up to the cage and he's playing Metallica, and I'm like, "All right, I can dig this." So I mean, and then 2 nights in a row. I mean, working with him, I loved it. I did not care, but half of the people had disappeared, didn't come back, ate, on their break or whatever, because I started as an extra, so they had ate on their mid break and then left, disappeared. I'm like, oh, they'll never be back. After that, they'll never be back. And the next night went back, so they could finish out their scene. And it was so much fun. I had a blast. And after that, I just straight ahead,
Oh
stayed in
yeah.
the industry ever since. But that energy, and knowing he was freezing his ass off too. You know, it was just, but me, I was a little bit more naked than he was, but I
Right.
didn't, it was just so much fun. I think I just fell in love. I was covered in mud. It was fun.
it is
But
definitely something that if you're able to experience something like that to that extent where it's multiple nights and night shooting, and then you have to go up in the day, and then it throws off your whole sleep schedule on top of everything else. And yeah, it's freezing, it's wet, you're covered in mud or in some cases blood or gore or whatever, and you come back for more. Yeah, that is dedication you can count on. And that's why it might feel cliquish to people on the outside because they don't understand that kind of dedication that it takes to do things like this. It is not a 9 to 5. It is not a punch a clock. It is you're in it and you've got to give it your all or don't start. It's just that simple. Or do something else entirely. If you don't want to be on the set, that's fine. There's so many folks that aren't on the set, behind the scenes, pre-production, production, post-production, that are doing incredible work, not having stepped on a set. But if you think those folks aren't working incredibly hard with sometimes crushing hours and grueling situations, you're misunderstood. You're misunderstood. Those folks who aren't on set on these big films bring so much to them that it gives the people on the set the ability to do what they do. And that support structure that's there is integral. So each one needs the other. It's that big machine, big well-oiled machine when you're on a fun set, that like you need, every piece needs to be working cohesively. And if it doesn't, you're going to get breakdowns and problems. But it sounds like you had a very fun time in 14-degree weather, covered in mud for 3 straight nights.
people probably hear some of the stories I tell and they're like, damn, that she is crazy. I just, I don't know. Life is too short to not enjoy stuff, you know?
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, you get some of the girls that are real girly girls, or you get girls like me that I can be a girly girl when I need to be, or I can just be a flat out tomboy. But I just like to have fun. And it doesn't matter because I know my work is going to get done. And
Mm-hmm.
I know when I put my work out there, my work is going to be great no matter what. I'll make sure my work is great,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm going to have fun doing what I do to get it out there to where it needs to be, no matter what it is, no matter what it is. I'm going to enjoy what I'm doing, period. No matter what it is, even if I'm working on somebody else's, doesn't matter. I'm there, we take breaks. I'm still going to have fun. Let's have fun, because you never know. You never know when you're going to pass away. You have no clue. It's too short not to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to enjoy life. And there are people, I'm sure, 14-degree weather, there probably would have been a lot of girls that would have been like, no, no, hell no. But me, I'm just like, all right. Night quill and Vicks Vapor Rub. We're good.
Just power through. Just power through. And a lot of shoots will have that. They'll have that aspect where you have to dig deep and just sort of figure out, like, okay, I got more in me. I can go one more take, I can go one more night, I can go one more week. These things happen, shoots get extended, reshoots, things like that, and you come back because you love it. And yeah, I cannot stress that enough. And man, yeah, just talking about it makes me want to get back on set. I just want to get out and shoot
See, I got you
something.
riled up now. You're like, all right, let's do this. What is the worst conditions you've been in?
Ooh,
Oh,
man,
yeah, I'm gonna put you on the spot now.
no, I'm thinking about it. There was a film that I did years ago, and it was in North Carolina. We were in this old abandoned factory, and I, geez, I think at one point I might have actually rolled around in used motor oil for a scene. That was not set dressing; that was just there. And this is me starting out, cutting my own teeth, doing it myself, just for a little short film that no one ever saw, went nowhere. But I'm like, hey, I'm in it. I'm here. I'm gonna do whatever I can. And yeah, I gave it my all. But that was a 21-hour day. and we started at night. So I the whole night just in that warehouse. That was probably the worst that I've ever experienced. Um, but obviously, it didn't put me off from making films
What
because
was it, like a 48-hour film fest or something like that?
no, this was it was a short film for a buddy of mine who made it, but yeah, it wasn't for any 48-hour film festival. It was just something that we were just like, oh, cool. Yeah, I think we can make this. Yeah, it's cool. Do a couple of nights. We weren't under the gun to make the thing. It wasn't like, oh, it has to be strict. It was no, just making a short film. And yeah, that was because it was cold. It was February, maybe January when we shot the thing. Yeah, so it was freezing cold. Abandoned warehouse, no heat, no running water, just electricity was used for lighting. Um, yeah, and it just get out and just make the thing. And yeah, the end of it is like, well, I'm glad I did it. I got to experience, just have this experience, and it's uniquely mine. And I'm sure most people in the film industry who started out at the bottom have something similar. Um, but that just happens to be mine. But that was the worst. That was the worst. And I'm laughing about it now because I can look back on it fondly and be like, you know what? Even that wasn't that bad because I was still making a movie.
I'll tell you a little story about something that we did. I was production manager on this set for this little 48-hour thing that we did. And there was this guy, and he had to do this explosion scene. He was covered in all this burn makeup. Oh my God, Jason did an excellent with his makeup. And so there was a scene where he had to lay outside in the snow. Okay. So he was wrapped in garbage bags, and in the first take, okay, garbage bags and like the little heating things for your hands kind of shoved in there, because we knew he'd be laying there for a minute. And he laid out there, and Terry, buddy of mine, I'm gonna put him on the spot, Terry Luke Meyer, he shot the Reds video for Marty. He's got that How We Looking. It's a documentary. He's
Oh,
actually the director of that. And we shot the scene with him laying out there. So the actor goes in, he's getting warm. Me and Terry were sitting out there, and we're looking at the scene and talking. We're like, man, we should fuck with him. And he goes, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, we should get him back out here and take our, doing our take. He'd already taken stuff out of his the warmers out, trash bag. We tell him,
oh man.
get him out there, lay down again in the snow. Act like we're doing a whole nother scene. Roll the camera again, get him up, act like it's over. Then after it's all said and done, get him in there and tell him, oh yeah, by the way, we really didn't shoot that. We didn't even need it. He's like, what? I'm like, we started cracking up. We thought it was funny. It
Well,
wasn't.
if you're having yeah, if you're having fun with the right people, then you can you can do stuff like that.
Well, I mean, 40, went 48. Well, actually, I technically had went, oh my God, it was well over 48 hours because I had to do, this was as I was coming into the film industry in the beginning. So I was still running my business, which was actually a cleaning and painting business in the beginning. And I had the base camp set up at an apartment complex that we were using. So I had just cleaned that whole unit. And the manager there was a buddy of mine. So I was like, I want to use this unit as a base camp, which he was cool with.
Hmm.
And I had cleaned the unit. We used it as base camp. I had to go back in and clean the unit. So that was a whole day right there by itself. Then, not to mention all the paperwork and everything I had to do. So I literally worked 3 days before we did the 48 hours. So I was going on 5 days. Yeah, I was in the mood to mess with some people 5 days straight. Barely any sleep, probably 4 or 5 hours of sleep for 5 days. Yes, I was in the mood to mess with people. It
I
was
can
fun,
understand that. That makes sense. Yeah, that tracks.
right?
It's nice to be able to work with people who have that kind of sense of humor, who will work very, very hard to get the product right, to get the film made the right way, but can also blow off steam and have fun in a way that's a little wrong, but in the right kind of way. I don't know how else to phrase it, but something like that where you've got your buddy and he's doing something crazy, and you're like, I have an idea. I did something similar to a buddy of mine, a really good friend of mine, Nate Lofton, who's been in pretty much everything I've made. He's in the Rogues trailer too. Um, yeah, that guy's a machine. He will do kind of whatever is needed for the film. Incredible actor. But one of the first things I had him do for one of the very first things we ever did together was he was playing a guy who was shot twice, landed in a river, and washed up on the bank. So this is, I think, November. We're filming it, and he's in jeans and just some Henley, laying face down in the Yadkin River with bullet hole makeup, and he looks all gaunt and disheveled, and he's just laying in the river on the beach with no socks, no shoes, just doing it for I don't know how how long I said.
Cold too, November.
Yeah, it was real cold. He was not happy, and yeah, he will rag on me about that to this day, and as he should, because I put him through the ringer. But he's kind of like us, where that didn't deter him from acting, and yeah, he's God.
Years later, he's still not happy.
No, he's not happy at all. Oh man, but that was a lot of fun working with him on that one. Well, on everything really, and that's part of that core team that you get.
Do
You
y'all
know,
just sit back and think, damn, some of the stuff that we have done?
it's pretty great. It's pretty great because we do have quite a number of things under our belts, and yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. Being able to work with Nate, with Brendan when he was here, people like Tyler Cole, who's in the Rogues trailer, working with these filmmakers again and again and again, has really just helped me refine my voice as a filmmaker. Because when you work with enough people that become friends and you trust everything that they're telling you and you confide in them and vice versa, if you have a bad idea or a bad instinct, they'll call you out on it. They're not yes men. They'll show up and be like, that's a bad idea. Are you sure you want to do that? Okay, we can try that. Well, let's try this a different way just in case. And I'll get into editing. I'm like, yeah, that was a bad road to go down. I'm glad they were there to kind of call me out on it. And now at this point, I bring them in early on in the process. And I'm showing them rough drafts, just pages. Like, hey, what do you think about this? That's okay. Your last one was better. Oh, good. Thanks. Real supportive there, guy. Appreciate the feedback. But yeah, it's when you have people like that in your corner that you take those 20-hour days in freezing cold temperatures and you do them again and again because damn it, it's just so fun.
Did he end up getting sick from that though?
No, no, because he really wasn't in there that long, and we did have a fire right next to him. So like as soon as we got the shot, he was up and out and dried and clean and sitting in a truck nearby. Um, but he he makes me think I had him in there half a day, and I didn't. It was probably not even 10 minutes. But
Oh,
the way he
oh.
tells it, he was in there half a day.
Like, well, how many outfits did he have to go through?
He just
He
had to
was
lie
that
still.
long.
That's all he had to do. Wasn't yeah, it
I
wasn't that
don't know.
terrible.
Like, there's some when those rivers get cold. Like, okay, I don't know if you've ever seen the Donnybrook movie,
Hmm.
but I mean, one, that movie's not for kids at all. Um, but there's a scene in there, and I don't know how the hell they got that girl to do it. The Margaret girl, the girl that was the lead, one of the leads in that movie. I tell you what, there was a scene where she had to come out of that river, and I know which river it was, and naked, naked. And I know we filmed in November here, and I know how cold it was. I feel for that girl.
Hmm.
I really do, because I know that poor girl had to be freezing her ass off.
That's dedication right there. That is
Mhm.
absolute dedication to your art, and you are 100% believing in what you are doing
Mhm.
to do something like that because that's risky. That
Oh
is,
yeah.
yeah, like, oof.
Margaret Qualley, I believe that's her. I think that's how you say her last name is Qualley.
More power to her, because that's not something anyone would do. Like you have to, yeah, fully commit and be just one hell of an actor. Be able to put like just to believe in yourself and your performance and your role so strongly to do something like that. Yeah, that takes incredible heart and guts and just resolve. Like I'm gonna just gonna do this. No, I'm just gonna do it. Like
When I
that's
seen the
that's
scene
amazing.
after I seen the movie, and I seen that, and I was just like, whoa, because I never knew, I
Mm,
was an extra in that movie. I didn't know all the other scenes that were in that movie. But when I seen her come out, and I knew where they had filmed that when I seen the location afterward, I was like, there is no way in hell that poor girl, in November.
mm.
And I know how cold that was. It's cold in July, let alone November. I felt so bad for her. They had to at least, if they did any more than one or two takes, oh man, because
Oof.
she was out pretty far
Oh wow.
and then
Yeah,
swam.
a tournament like that, you got to be careful with stuff like that. And I'm sure they were. I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
But see, if I wanted to, I could have made Nate's life a lot harder, and I could have made him naked and have him wade through the middle of the Yadkin River. But I didn't. I didn't. So it's not that bad. He can
Could
calm
have
down.
been worse, man. You could have been naked. Maybe
Uh,
next time.
maybe next time.
There you go. Now you have to write a part two. He'll be sitting there like, damn it, shut up. He's gonna be cussing me out. He didn't even talk to me. It's okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Looking forward to that conversation.
So, what advice do you have for anybody aspiring to be in this industry?
Ooh, I mean, everything we've talked about before stands. Just knowing for a fact you are you are good to do these hard, long days in the worst conditions and come back and ask for more for quite some time. And that's just one way to go about doing it. That's just one path to take. There are so many ways to make it in this industry. There's no one way. If anyone's trying to tell you that, they're trying to sell you something. It's snake oil. Don't buy into it. There are, and because there's so many ways into it, there are so many different avenues to meet people, to network with, to connect with, to make what you want to make or help someone make what they want to make and build your own little community to start with. Because if you're able to build that up, if you don't have one, and you can find people that are like you, or at least remotely like you, or believe in your idea and can help you make it happen, you can bring folks with you as you all climb together. The collaborative process in filmmaking is one of the reasons I have stuck with it so long, because I love working with teams. And if you don't have that in you, maybe this isn't for you. If you want to write, awesome, do your thing. You don't need anybody else to do it. That's great. If you want to be you know, a painter, whatever, we're going to talk about that kind of stuff. But for someone just starting out, aspiring, there's also an incredible amount of tools at your disposal that are cheap or free, or there are ways to get them relatively inexpensively that can benefit your career, especially as a no name starting out trying to break in. You can get things like Blender for your laptop for free and learn how to use it with all its plugins, and you can make any kind of things you want now. It's all at your fingertips and you're at your disposal for almost free. And you can get free trials for the Adobe suite. You can just try it out, see what you like editing, if you like writing, if you like doing color work or music, or it's incredible. It's so open now, whereas 50, 100 years ago it was very much a locked gate. Now the floodgates are open and you can try almost anything with film. It's incredible. I would say don't be shy to try new things. Don't be afraid to fail, as long as you get back up after you do. That tenacity, that stick to itiveness, when you've got a group, and if you can't build a group, you're in the wrong place. Go to a new place, find a group there. But yeah, it's people that have it in their soul that are going to make it by hook or by crook. you know.
I agree with you. I mean, I tell people, don't do it just to be famous.
No,
I mean,
no,
because one, if you're just doing it thinking, oh, for fame, don't, because that's not everything. If
no,
you don't enjoy it and that's the only reason you're doing anything, just stay where you're at.
exactly. Yeah, pretty
You
much.
better like it before you even think about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Once you do reach a level like that, there's even people up at the top, yeah, it's great to be where you're at, but once you're there, I'm sure getting followed around and everybody knowing every little thing and ridiculed, that gets old, you know? And there are so many departments in the film industry. So many. There are departments that, hell, there were departments I didn't even know existed, you
Right,
know?
right.
Until, I started doing what I'm doing, producing. And then I'm like, damn, there are departments I didn't even know that existed in the industry. And there are so many things that people can do,
Hmm.
and I just don't believe in doing this industry to be famous.
No,
I think you
there's
actually have to like
like there's easier ways to go about being famous nowadays. You can just get on social media and just post some stuff and go viral that way. If that's all you're in it for, cool. You know, you do you. But this, like the path you're trying to take in this industry, unless you're already connected, unless you're already, someone's kid who's already famous, something like that, this is not the path to do that. There's probably easier ways to be famous, but the folks that want to do it because they love it will always continue to do it, whether or not they're famous. Like that doesn't matter.
right.
It's just getting to be able to express yourself creatively in this medium. That's what matters. And those are the folks that are probably the ones you want to surround yourself with because they'll just help you and help you stand even taller. And that's what my group has done for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree completely. Just like when I hear some of these kids and I'm gonna get famous on YouTube. And I'm thinking, man, YouTube will eventually go away, you know, or TikTok. And I'm like, okay, what you guys don't realize is somebody who's actually been on a film set is in, with training and acting, whatever you're doing on TikTok, that is not what you would be doing acting or even, in acting classes. There is a complete difference. You're
Mm.
basically Millie and Vanilli, you know, with the TikTok shit versus anything you would be doing on a film set, I'm
Film
so
sets are a lot more involved, I will say. Film sets, and that's because there's so many moving parts. Whereas TikTok is just you with your phone, you can kind of do your own thing. And if you're looking for a way to, I guess, break in, I guess you can get used to watching yourself back if you're doing things like TikTok, and you can get used to how you speak and how you look on camera and things like that. I guess it's like a good like one-to-one, instant reaction kind of thing. Like I guess that's handy in some ways for aspiring young actors. But yeah, if you're trying to get like film, I don't think TikTok's the way to go about doing it. It's a little, I don't know if I can endorse that. I'm trying to be diplomatic here.
how many people are going to watch me in 30 seconds
I,
or 15
yeah.
seconds or however long? See, I don't even know. I have a TikTok, but I've never used it, not one time.
Hmm.
I don't even think I even created my profile on there.
Mhm.
I have no idea. I think I just created it because when my youngest daughter was like 8, I caught her making little TikTok videos. So I
Mhm.
think that's why I created mine so I could keep an eye on her.
Mhm.
Now she's 16, so that's like 8 years ago.
Technology moves fast. Technology moves very, very fast.
I don't really pay attention to it.
We just keep making movies.
I prefer those.
Yeah, you and me both.
All right. Well, I'm not going to hold you up too long. All right. So I am definitely going to say thank you for coming on. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
And I'll let you go write your part too so you can go and mess with your buddy.
I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. You can tell them it was my idea.
I will.
All right, guys, we are out of here. Until next time, see you later. Bye.